Hello, and welcome to my channel. This is my first series. I'm your host, your local Budtender, and guess what? We are embarking on a new adventure. Budtend3r builds a republic in Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic. For this playthrough, we'll be playing on a custom map called Soviet Grenland. This is going to be one with no roads, so we're going in completely barren. And from this point, comrades, not one step back. We will be going for full realistic settings. All of it staying the same. The only thing I'm altering is the money amount to medium. I know what you might be thinking, and that sounds all well and good, but what does all that mean? Well, if you're new to the game, stick around and we'll go through some of the settings and see, and we have a bit of a base idea of what's going on. And if not, I'll put a timestamp down below, and for those of you who are familiar, you can skip right to the gameplay. Let's get into it. Year of start, 1960. I always like going in with the earliest year possible. Vehicle availability, clock start according to year. This means that vehicles will be available from the year their production begins, and they don't expire. You can get them all throughout. Research is going to be an important one, specifically because without it, we won't be able to get into certain things like high quality living, so flats with a quality of 90% or above, advanced engineering, so mechanical components, electrical components, production chains, so ships, trains, planes, automobiles. None of that's going to exist unless we have an educated population to put the research into it so we can develop it and then build the buildings. Crime and justice, we're going to need police stations, courthouses, and prisons to handle the criminal population. Education simulation is a big one too. Not only does that tie into the research with the university part of it, but it also means that we need kindergartens because parents with kids under the age of 6 won't be able to work unless there's a kindergarten available for them to put their kids into. Global events, things like earthquakes and pandemics are going to strike a bit more frequently, with a bit more severity, and be a bit more damaging to our republic. Things like maintenance are going to play a big role because that means that our buildings, infrastructure, and our vehicles are going to incur wear and tear as they're being used and going about their jobs. So having a vehicle maintenance facility so we can kind of reduce those numbers early on is going to be a big thing. Waste management with the addition of demolition means we need to have a demolition offices to destroy the buildings that we put up earlier and haul out the rubble so we can use the plot of land for something else. And then the unsatisfied citizens' reaction. So that being set to great on hard, meaning that there's a real sense of urgency, and if our citizens don't have their needs fulfilled, they will let us know. And it's usually going to result in a steep and quick population decline. To make things a little bit spicier, we'll be going through this play with no loans, but not to worry, comrade. I have a strong plan to ensure the continued prosperity of our glorious republic. And finally, we'll be adhering to a strict trade clause. I don't see the point in focusing on early construction industries, so things like concrete, cement, bricks, and boards. I prefer to leverage our strong Soviet allies and their existing trade networks rather than dive into that myself. All right, pretty sure that covers everything that I wanted to cover beforehand, and without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, here we are on the Soviet Grenland map. As we look around, we can see that it's pretty barren everywhere. No roads, meaning no towns anywhere. It's all up to us. Now, we're going to settle in this peninsula part here called Voloka, or at least we got 2 medium custom houses off the bat we can access that are both part of Voloka. A lot of water around us, and we also, around the bend to the lake on the right there of the screen, we have access to 2 large custom houses, which aren't going to benefit me or us right now, but initially later on, they'll play a big role. So for this first segment here, you're going to see me lay out my initial road connection between these 2 custom houses because I want to access both of them for resources at the exact same amount of time. I'm also going to fill in some, or at least place some construction companies and then populate them with some vehicles. After that, we're pretty much going to cut to the finished product of what I want the road network to look like, or at least the initial layout and design and paving of it. Yes, I'm going to pave the roads off the bat, and I go into and explain that in the next part of the video a little bit more in detail. So without further ado, I'll catch up with you later. Alright, welcome back, guys. We're here back on Soviet Grenland. We had just set up our mud roads in a relative fashion that we're generally, or at least I'm generally happy with. But then I had an idea. A couple ideas. So I'm going to make some alterations to this, and well, basically what I'm going to do is, I like how this kind of change off is, this triangular change off is here, so I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And in between here, I'm going to run the road around and leave a space in the middle for like a park or like a monument park or something like that. I don't know what we're going to put there yet. I don't know what we're going to do with it, but I was messing around with one of my other maps and had some ideas, so I was like, alright, let's give it a shot. Also, I don't think I've ever put this much planning, if I'm being honest, into a road network for a Republic. And I think it's down to the fact that I have like 1,600 hours in this game, and it's like, I know that might not be a lot for some people, but I didn't ever jump into the tutorials. I probably should have, but I just jumped straight into the game and learned as I went from Republic to Republic. And everything I know and I'm gonna like showcase at least here is just what I've learned from playing the game. So yeah, without further ado, I'm probably going to go silent here, so I'll catch up with you once I'm done what I'm doing. See you in a bit. Alright, so I was able to get the first part of this. I did it. A nice curvature here going on the entrance and exit point for this road here. I'm probably, you know what, I should mimic the dual lane. Sweet. Alright, so first part of the redo was a success. Got a nice entry and exit point for the road here. Now the next part is I'm going to change up this part of the road. I'm going to eliminate this, probably this section here to this section here. maybe this section here, and I'm going to make a bulge where we're going to put like probably like a park, a state park, or a monument park or something. I don't know. We'll figure that part of it after. Oh, wait a minute. I gotta also give this road another entry and exit point. I forgot about that. Come on, work with me here. No? Maybe... Sure, I guess that works. Can I actually replace it from... Ah, I can, okay. These little connect dots you see here actually play a pretty neat little role in the game itself. And basically, every time, well, whenever you see one of these dots on an open stretch of your road, it means your road is not connected into one piece and it's two separate pieces. That's a separate piece there. So the reason why this matters, or this makes a difference, is when you're building the roads or constructing things, each one of those is going to be a separate task. Some of which might need mechanisms, some of which, if it's small enough, would just need workers and asphalt. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to limit the amount of broken pieces of road that I have so that I can have a smoother paving process, because I'm going to pave up to here at the very least. And the reason why is because paved roads, I think I said this in the last video, are impervious to weather. As long as you have a technical service office with enough plows to get snow off and to get snow off. Even slow on snowy roads is better than slow on wet mud roads. So I know I could just do gravel, but why? If I have the option to do asphalt, I might as well do asphalt. Just make it, to me, it just makes sense. Anyways, I'm gonna go quiet again and fix up that part of the bulge there once I repair this part of the road, and we'll be back at you. Alright, sorry guys, I got distracted with, this road had a bit of a bump in it over here. You may have been able to see that in the video, and I didn't want that to be the case. I wanted these to be very, very smooth roads, very drivable. And as I'm looking around here, I can see this area here. This is going to be a little bit of a issue, I see. So I think before we get into the Yeah, the middle. Sorry, for some reason I'm at a loss for words. Alright, so let's see how this looks now. Oh, but Jesus, that is, alright, so I fixed that part, but I screwed this part up. Okay. Well, we can fix that. Sweet. And just like that, we have a wonderful road again. That's been adjusted. Yeah, that's much nicer. That'll be a much nicer drive. Alright. Okay, so now for the middle. I think I'm pretty happy with the way that looks. Kind of follows the shape of the city itself, which should turn out pretty good. Alright, now that we have the road network basically planned out, you know, I'm almost thinking and I'm almost tempted to put another one on the inside. But I think that might be a little much right now. It wouldn't mean I have to spider. Well, how would that work? Do it like this, then that would have to bring it in like so. Oh, there'd be 3. Okay, so if that's the case, I would just really... I'd get rid of these interior changes, and then they would just be left with the exterior ones with the road. Huh. Yeah, this looks really good. Damn. I'm impressed with myself. I mean, I don't think I've ever planned a road network out this nicely in the entirety I've been playing this game. Which sounds kind of bad. But I guess, like, playing the game, I really did learn a lot about how all this works and all that. And it was super nice to play a game that wasn't like, I don't know, it's just, for some reason, these kind of games don't usually appeal to me, but this one just... I picked it up and I never put it down. Alright, so now that we have our basic road network laid out, I'm going to unpause the game, stop rambling for a little bit, at least a little bit about that stuff. Actually, no. I'm going to go back to pause the game. We are going to designate the roads that are going to be asphalted. So we're going to do... The beautiful part about having all the roads connected like this is you can have do these these long paved roads, and just like this, see? This road is, whoa, is it, see? There's the issue. Now if I connect the road there, I can literally drag it all the way across up to here and pave that entire piece, which is awesome. So these guys are going to be paved. Might as well just pave you. So I'll pave the interior roads. I'll do one of the exterior ones to start. And then once those are finished, we'll get on the others. There we go. Okay, so we're going to unpause the game. You need... Oh, I still need an office with dumpers. Forgot about that. Forgot about the dump trucks and fuel. Okay. Put an office of dumpers there, and then an office of dumpers here. I know some folks are probably like, you're spending too much money on this stuff. I'm like, maybe. We'll see. I think I'll be okay. Pretty sure my plan's going to hold out. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got our armada, our fleet of dump trucks coming down the road. Speed you guys up. Forgot about the fuel. Yes, I did. I just put the gas station there. There. And then distribution offices, you can still get the free ones, which is nice. about 70%. You're a road depot, you are a road depot, you're a construction office. Can I do any more free construction offices? I can do... one more. Maybe instead I'll sell you, send you there. Send you there. That way I have at least one bus. And this is going to be awesome too, because these buses, they're mod, yeah. Is this 127? It's going to be great having these zipping around at 100 kilometers an hour on these paved roads. It's going to be so nice. I want to buy one more of these because I know those guys are going to come particularly in handy. Alright, so these guys have their orders. They know what they're doing. Yeah, we can speed it up. Kind of let them do their thing. And here, you're going to load fuel. Unload fuel there. You're going to do your job now. Perfect. See, already laying down gravel. This is going to be wonderful. Like I said, the main reason why I'm doing this is literally because the weather. Like, the paved roads are unmatched in the speed they carry. They allow vehicles to do even with snow on them. It still beats being on a snowy gravel road or a snowy mud road. That's why I'm investing money in it now, because this is going to help me return that later, or like bank that back later. And we're going to pave up this area too, because this is going to be our food, clothing, and alcohol kind of production zone. How are we doing this? Okay. That's not so bad, it looks pretty good. I like the trees here because you can use it to kind of like hide certain things from view, which is funny, but it works. Like, I can use the trees here to block the view of the factories up in this area. I kind of have a similar thing in mind to happen over, where is it? I guess it would be here, honestly, because typically this is on a hill, yeah. And with this tree line here, I want to put the waste management area in this area, specifically because it's super close to this customs house. Just build a bridge. But once I finish building the roads, we can build a bridge right down here and just have a super short distance. We can have it all. We can have the technical office up here, the separation zone, and the distribution office that I'm going to use to export the waste to our allies to recycle. At least in initial stages, once we get the separation set up here, I'll be able to refine more of it myself. That's kind of what I'm thinking for future plans. And another reason why I'm big on these paved roads and these dual roads more also is I want to keep these going. So this area, I'd like to turn, where is it? This particular area into a city too. And we can carry this road all the way through. This area, I believe, has some, well, there are some pictures up on the Steam Workshop for this map, so of the resources in the area, and I think this area's got some uranium, so that would be interesting once we get to research that. And we have these bridges here that I did suspend construction on because I don't want to go there just yet, but this is gonna, I think this is where we got a decent amount of oil, at least from what I remember. But yeah. And in the earlier map I did with this, it had that I set up this area, I turned into a bit of a gravel pit. I did have the food and the alcohol, the food and the clothing production up here. I put the alcohol in later, and I did do the waste area, the waste station area here, which is where I got that idea from. Kind of just, it makes like good sense in my head. The other area I could do it in is this area here, and then, well, does this waterway go anywhere? I mean, a ship could sail down that canal, so I could export the waste via the mixed waste via ship down that area, which is something I've never done, and it'd be something I'd be interested in giving a shot to. Sorry, damn, couldn't speak there for a minute. What else are we doing? We might be wondering what we're doing for power. Well, I got these hydroelectric plants. These are another mod, and the dude who made these, you are awesome. Like, these are such a lifesaver. And I don't think they're super overpowered either. I mean, they come in stock at 160 megawatts. But then if you look at the comments on the mod, the comment section for the mod, you can see some people who have edited the build file. And if you set the number to the 25, to number 25, you can get it to at 500 megawatts, which seems pretty in line considering the solar power plant does 560. So not too out of stretch. As we see, things are being built. I think to speed things up and just to make for my own kind of sake is I'm going to fill in another construction company, and it's just going to be dump trucks. And if we ever are in dire need of some cash, we can also just like sell off some of these vehicles. It's not a huge deal. Like some of these extra buses I have, I bought them pretty much because they're going to disappear from the shop after 1961, and I just want to make sure that I had at least some of them. Because until I think it's until 1975 or something, or like we don't get another bus that does that kind of speed, which is valuable considering I'm going to be moving people between the city down here and the production area for food, alcohol, and clothing up here. And then eventually we'll be moving people over here for oil. So again, having these long stretches of paved asphalt road, it means these things are just gonna be jiving along at 100 and 100 or 120 down the road there. So that in itself, being able to move people in a more efficient fashion, is going to be worth dividends. I mean, more than what it's going to cost me to pave all these roads. Another detail I love about this game is like you don't need workers to make roads so long as you have, or like if the pieces are small enough, yes, you need workers. But if it's long stretches like these, one of the most beautiful things is seeing something like this, where it's just the mechanism, and well, not some workers just got there, but even if they weren't there, this guy would still be chugging along, laying down the gravel for the road. Curious thing to know is why these dozers aren't being used for any of it. But I guess the game AI knows what it's doing better than I do, so we will just let it be. Yeah, numbers going down quickly, but we'll be okay. While these are being paved, I think the idea, what I'm going to do here is, I'll talk a little bit about what the next plan steps are. So once these are paved and I have the main roads set out, I can set up some like areas. I can divide up some areas and start planning out the infrastructure. Well, in terms of at least the groundworks initially. So we're going to do the, where is it? Surface water intake. We'll put one down. There. These are going to feed into water storage tanks, and then those tanks are going to feed into, we're going to use the underground reservoirs, simply because they hold the most water and it just makes sense. Two ways I usually do this is if I'm trying to save some money, I will just pump these directly into a water treatment station. Usually a small one, but I might just do the big one because sometimes it just makes sense to go in and do the big one. I know in the last map, in the other map I did with this, it already had roads on it. It came with roads already done. Oh, look at this. This is awesome. I love seeing this. That's just beautiful. And when that's finished and it's being paved, that's gonna look wonderful. Just wonder why. Oh, so it has to pay. Alright, so you gotta be finished before the rest of you will be touched. Okay, no problem. I will just let you guys do your thing, because y'all know what you're doing. Yeah, see here, perfect illustration, no workers, and this guy's just chugging along, laying the asphalt down. Doesn't even matter, we don't even need fuel to do this because the tank's empty and we're still going along here. Oh, here we go. Got some workers coming in. Look at these guys. Brave comrades. I love when you have this on fast forward. These trucks actually look like they're going at a decent rate of speed. you see everything rolling around. The roads are starting to take shape. So where was my water plants again? They were here. So we'll just do some gravel footpaths for the time being. Just so identify where you are. There. So I think we're just gonna do the big water treatment plant, just because if the city, like at the rate I think the city's gonna grow, that's just gonna be the most worthwhile kind of scenario for us. How do I want to put this here? Or how do I want to lay this down? Let's see here. I think this is probably the best configuration. Then it leaves me, I can set the tanks up in the export tanks in a position that will give me options in different areas. Quick so nobody gets started on them, and then the water pipes. So for this purpose I just go straight to using big water pipes. Oh, you know what I forgot? The water's not going to move anywhere. We need a pumping station. Not sure if this is going to work, but we can give it a shot. So now we're going to do, oh, I forgot about this. So at this point, it's probably just best to scrap the small water pump and leave that there. We can just jump right into the big water pumping station. Okay, so now that that's done, we can go into here, like that, like so. And now we can hook it directly into the station. Alright, so we got the water intake set up with the treatment plant. And the other reason why I'm putting this so close is because the certain core aspects of the city, like the water treatment, the power generation with the hydroelectricity plant. I like when people are able to walk to those main places, because it means they're always going to have staff and you're never going to have a shortage of people available, or like you're never going to have a power shortage because you don't have to bus people out to over here or wherever you put your gas plant, because you don't want your population catching so much of the pollution. This is also why I think mods like the hydro plant are a good like addition to the game, because it gives you an option of starting a republic without having to rely on something like coal power, you know what I mean, where you have to import coal and then you end up with all that pollution in the environment and whatnot. You can save the pollution for when you get to things like airplane production and all that. And good, these guys have started building, this road is going, this one is being rolled out to finish. Look at that. That is going to be wonderful. That's awesome. Alright guys, this is the majoritively finished project of our starting of our paved roads rather. So this area here and this area here I didn't pave just yet, but I'm probably going to, just so it doesn't look so out of place. I do have another road I kind of put in on top of our center road here, because I do like the way it flows a little bit nicer. So I'm probably going to adjust these two bulges here, so they're going to be a little bit more in line with that, but we can take care of that later. The next steps, or next important steps, are going to be setting up our water, power, and sewage. So I do have a big water plant temporarily kind of outlined to go there with some water intakes down in this area. However, what I'm thinking is that I could do it up here also. This would give it a more direct connection to my food and alcohol production, which are also going to be up here. And because it is on an incline, we can use gravity to our advantage, and we might not need to use as many pumps to get the water out or down to the public, as I do like to use these underground reservoirs simply because they hold the most water. And if you ever have to do any kind of repairs or whatnot, or change things up, it gives you a very nice buffer between untreated water and treated water, so your people do not get sick. One other thing I wanted to mention was, or a couple other things rather, the technical services offices. I opened up 3 over here, and it's 1961 now. It took us about a year in game to pave all this, which isn't so bad, at least in my opinion. And with these technical offices and snowplows, it takes a couple days, but all these roads get beautifully cleared off of snow, and there are very limited, if any, disruptions to moving our goods around. So looking forward, I'm very pleased with the way that worked out, and I think it's going to pay big dividends to us in the future. Outside of that, we're also going to be setting up our sewage and power situations. Sewage, I'm thinking about going down here and just discharging it out to the water, since it's going to be like the least amount of pipes. We'll just need like one for this area here, and then add one in later for here. Alternatively, I could do it the other way around. I could put the water down here and then discharge the sewage up here. But we'll see what do we go with. If you have an opinion on it, or an idea or a comment, feel free to drop it down below. I will be going through those as I see them come through, and responding either in the video or responding to your comment directly. Yeah, those are the next steps after we lay the groundworks for our water, sewage, and power. Yeah, so like I said in the other video, we're going to be doing at least starting off with the runoff the river hydroelectricity plants. Probably going to put at least one here, and or at least somewhere in this general area, and then if I need to, throw another one down here or whatnot. Again, I like having our certain things closer to the populated residential area, simply because, again, if you have it within walking distance of flats, it'll always be populated, and you're never going to have any real staffing issues going on. Alright, that's about it for what we can expect in the next episode. So, thank you for watching. Feel free to leave a comment down below, and I'll catch you next time. Take care.